If you'd like to put the country that you are from in your name, you're welcome to. The chat will just be used informally. We won't be using that for any of the formalities tonight, but you're welcome to put anything you'd like if you'd like to introduce yourself in the chat. When we get to the question and answer session, you're welcome to raise your hand with the virtual hand, but we'll time the Q&A sessions because we have quite a lot to get through. So please, if you do have an opportunity to ask a question, please keep it short, as Viola always says, KISS from the training division. Next slide, please. All right, so just a quick run through what we'll be discussing this evening. We have our first section, which will be our operational side of things, introductions, membership updates. We'll then continue on with the training section, introducing training committee and their role and function. And you might ask, why are we doing this? It's a repeat of what we've done before and what you have probably heard before, but we're using this as an opportunity to refresh our older members, and I don't mean older in age, I mean those who have been with us as members for a number of years, as well as the newbies, as we call them, because you as our members, it's important that you understand how we work as an organization, as a federation, as well as what the role of those who represent you within the WFTTA is. Then we'll move on to section 3, which will cover Convention 2024 and everything around that. After that, we move on to section 4, which is our General Assembly. And then following that, section 5, which is our WFTTA activities. And then again, if we have time for final questions, we'll be taking those and we will close the meeting. Great. So let's start with the operational side of things. That was our last convention when we had opportunity to meet face-to-face in Madrid. So some of you might recognize yourselves in that image. All right, next slide. So at the moment we have our board members, which is myself as president. We have Marika, Hurle, head of training, and James. And then recently we've co-opted Sebastian as vice president. We also have Sonia with us, who is our membership manager and our general administration manager. Under Viola's head of training, we also have the training committee, which is the next slide. And within the training committee, we have Dimitra and Banushe, as well as myself and James from the Expo, and Sonia as support. As the Expo, we always like to give ourselves a few goals, and this is just a summary of what we said we would like to do over the last 2 years, and then we've brought that back into the last year, and we're almost coming up to the end of this. We have 3 months left, but these were our goals that we wanted to achieve as Expo, and we will speak more about this in our General Assembly to the delegates, but mainly we were looking at improving membership engagement, membership growth, as well as financial aspects and the legacy of the organization. Within that, we always look at governance, and we have these flow charts which kind of guides us to ensure that we meet governance. And that's important because it speaks to the responsibilities, and it also demonstrates that we're taking governance into consideration when it comes to administration and financial side of things. And just a recap of who we are as a federation. And our priority is always our association members, and we've often been asked, why do we take individual members? What is the purpose of the individual membership? And we're very clear that their role is there to act as a conduit and to advocate to our potential full members. And whether there's an association that exists or not, we always ask our individual members to help drive them to potentially join us, or we assist them in forming an association. And this is why our individual membership exists. We're not there to represent the individual tourist guide, because at the end of the day, we are a federation of associations. And now I'm going to hand over to Sonia, who's just going to take us through a couple of points with regards to membership. Sonia?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Lovely to see familiar faces again. Just an update on membership. we currently represent a total of 78 countries, which is an increase of representation based on our last feedback to you. We currently have 86 full members in our database, 23 individual members, and 19 affiliate members. These are all active, current, paid-up members in good standing with WFTGA. And the reason why I've mentioned that is because we are fast approaching our financial year end and the beginning of our new membership year, and also a convention year in 2024. So a reminder to all members, please reach out if you haven't received your 2023 membership certificate. Please make contact with me if you need any of the logos that you are able to use to display as a member in good standing with WFTGA. The logos are displayed on the screen there for full members. That's our most current and up-to-date logo. Affiliate members, that's what you get to use, and individual members, you are able to use those respective logos. All those that are unsure whether your association is up to date in terms of payments, please feel free to reach out to me. I will be sending out reminders. The date for payments for the 2023 financial year would be the 25th of October. I will be starting invoicing for the 2024 membership year during November and December. Yeah, that's it from my side, short and sweet. Any membership queries, please feel free to mail me at membership@wftga.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Viola, if we could go into the next slide, please. And as Sonia mentioned, the financial year's term is quite important because that's when we need all our invoices settled for the last year before we start invoicing for the next membership year. And something that's quite important to note is that we are definitely implementing what our constitution states, in that our membership fees need to be received by the 1st of January. And we will explain this more a little later, but we have a lot to prepare for the convention because we have a hybrid convention. We have a lot we need to do behind the scenes in preparation, which means that we cannot accept membership fees any later than the 12th of January, should you want to be part of the delegates meeting in a voting capacity. So that is extremely important to note. Our forecasted budget, as we mentioned in our February virtual members meeting, address all these as listed on this slide. So Viola, next slide, please. So we often are asked, you know, what do we achieve financially? How do we achieve what we do with the financial limitations that we have? Because our main source of income as WFTGA is our membership fee. And that's what we get from you. And we do a lot with very little, and we would not be able to do that without our volunteers. And it's important for you to note that how we receive money and how we spend the money. So receiving money, as I said, membership fees is the main source of income. And then we have smaller incomes as well, which come from sponsorship, donations, training courses, conventions, and then miscellaneous such as merchandise and online sessions. When it comes to expenses, obviously we meet our governance requirements, the way expenses are done, but we have our operational expenses, our marketing expenses, and then of course our promotion and PR for our profession. Again, next slide, please. When we have flowcharts as such, we have specific people involved in processes around the financial side of things, and this is our financial flowchart. Next slide, please. When it comes to marketing and promotion, we do many things. We have speaking events where our area representatives speak, us as expos speak. You can keep clicking, thank you, Viola. Speak at a multiple of events as well. So marketing and promotions is something we do virtually as well as in person for us, our sector as tourist guides, as well as for the profession and within tourism, of course, because we are all part of that tourism ecosystem. So that's important for us. And then part of this volunteering and doing all this marketing is, of course, the use of our area representatives. So with us, we have Marika, who is our expert member who looks after our area representatives. And then we also have Smara, who wears many hats. Before I introduce Smara, let me introduce Marika. Marika, would you like to just say hello and just give us a quick overview of how important the role of the area representative is?
Yes, hello everyone, and greetings from Washington, D.C. My name is Mary Cardonato, and I am the liaison with the board with the area representative portfolio. So they're very important. We have 16 representatives total, covering about 5 continents in the world, and each one has a very significant role to play because they are there as your ambassador. So all our members within the region, if they have any questions, if we want to know about when is your next meeting, we have the area representative visible and accessible to you. So we would like you to engage with them. We would like you very much to, ask your questions and be as dynamic and active with our representatives, because that's their role, is really to connect you with us, the executive board.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Marika. And then we have, as I said, Smara with us. And Smara, you wear many hats. You are an active area representative, you're a long-time trainer, and you've also been attending a number of our conventions as a delegate. So I'm going to come back to your other hats, but for now, Smara, as an area representative, give us a short overview of your experience as an area representative.
Good evening, everyone, and it's very good to be among you. And I'm very happy to see a few familiar faces. In some of the countries in the area, I am the representative of WFTGA. So the experience is a positive one, if nothing else. And it's very interesting to be engaging with associations in general. And this is the reason in the first place that I became very active in the World Federation, with associations and with active guides in other countries, and especially in a region where you have borders, you share common borders, common attitudes, mentalities, and obviously problems and difficulties. So the contact with the people is, or rather with the representatives of the associations, is something that is part of who we are as guides. And I want to bring the World Federation close to them and the spirit of it, but at the same time, I'm trying, and it's usually a one-way communication, to also bring them forward. The conventions is the opportunity to actually do things best, to come in touch and to see the people, look at them in the eye. I know that this is great, what we're doing right here, but I really wish we could all come together every 2 years. The rough part is over. I'm talking about the pandemic and COVID, and that there will be opportunities to actually, there will be an opportunity to come together. I know that there are issues and problems. I saw Yoni in the group, in the team. I know there are far more serious issues and problems right now in the region, and I'm talking about what is happening in Israel and Palestine. I hope we will find a way, and we will be able to move forward and to, if nothing else, be in touch and be morally supportive in this very difficult situation. But you see, this is part of what this is about. It's not just a task. It's about knowing and being alert and having your mind on the people who are down on the ground and what every association brings with them, their benefits, their gifts, their problems, their also their difficulties, and do the best to be there for them.
Thank you, Smara. I think that's a great summary of the current situation and of course the role of the area rep as well. So thank you for that. And thank you for all your years of volunteering as area representative as well. All right. And speaking of volunteers, without our volunteers, as I said, we couldn't do a lot. And we also have other positions within the WFTGA where our volunteers are important. And that is our President Emeritus, who are our presidents who've been active in previous years. And with us today, we have Roz. So Roz, welcome and thank you for joining us. Would you like to say a couple of words before we move on with our presentation?
Hello, everybody. Good to see you all, and hope to see many of you in Italy in February. And it's great to see everybody. Oh, I want to say at the moment.
Thank you, Roz. And then another volunteer position, of course, and this is more of a reward for being a volunteer, is our Global Brand Ambassador. And at the moment we have 2. We had 3, but Marika chose to come onto the executive board. So that is her role as volunteer at the moment. As soon as she's done on the executive board, she will return back to being one of our Global Brand Ambassadors. So then we would have 3 again. And these are volunteers who have been doing above and beyond, demonstrating above and beyond for the WFTGA in being advocates for the organization. And this is not over the last 2 or 3 years, but over 10, 15 years, so even 20. So these are really important people that we recognize with this position. And with that, I will conclude the first section, which is membership. Before I go on to the training division section, I'll take a couple of really brief questions, if there are any questions on what we have spoken about so far, keeping in mind we still have more coming up about the General Assembly, convention, and more information about delegates. So any questions on the membership side and operational side of the WFTGA, you may raise your virtual hand before we move on to the training division section. And Viola, if you could just help me identify if you see any hands coming up.
Sure.
I don't see any hands. Well, going on. So Viola, I'll hand over to you to do the training division section. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Alushka, and hello, everybody. Hello from Scotland. There's also some noise outside here. The police helicopters are out and about, so I don't know if they're transporting a broken tree after our storms, but I hope you can hear me. So it's lovely to see you. And again, a couple of trainers here, as Alushka already said, and Smaro demonstrated, we wear a number of hats and really drive our profession forward through that. The quick reminder and overview of our training division. The training division consists of all WFTGA trainers under 3 conditions, really, which are listed here. So of course, first of all, you have your qualification. There are 3 levels of qualification, so the logos tell us what they are: national trainer, international trainer, and lead international trainer. So everybody who has successfully completed the trainer course is WFTGA trainer. But there are 2 more conditions in terms of being a member of the training division. And one is that you are a member of WFTGA. May it be an individual member, but more likely probably a member of the Tourist Guide Association member. And Sonia touched on that your training division membership is only valid if you also are a member of WFTGA in the first place. So please check either with your own organization or with your with Sonia, as she offered, what the status of your Tourist Guide Association is. And then, of course, the third condition to be a member of the training division is to pay your annual trainer registration fee, which gives you access as a trainer to the G Drive as our training material, training resources. You receive the monthly training matters bulletin, and so on and so on. And the day-to-day running of the training division, so all the trainers and the training activities, is down to the training committee. And Alushka introduced the training committee, the current training committee at the beginning. So here you have another picture of one of our training committee meetings. So what is the training division's role and function? And there, if we look back at our constitution and really Article 2, the definition, it says that, you can read it, WFDJ shall be a non-profit making professional organization dedicated to the promotion of high standards of training and ethics within our profession. So training division is a tool to achieve our aim and function as WFDJ as such. And how do we do that? I mean, typical offerings or activities are, so we carry out training at the request of you, our members, the tourist guide associations, often with your partners. Maybe be sponsors like a ministry, like a tourism organization, or somebody else. So at your request. And that's what we call in-house courses. So we come to your location and we deliver the courses. Then, of course, we've got our 2 international training centers, and more about them shortly. And there we offer what we call open courses. So that is where individual tourist guides join an international course in one location and receive their trainer qualification. And then, of course, another activity is that we deliver training at the request of our external partners, for instance, UNW Academy, UNWTO Academy, UNESCO. We had a couple of projects with ministries and so on and so forth again. And the pandemic added to our activities as well, the online sessions activities. And Alushka mentioned that we do a lot with a little, and I think it's also interesting to look back and see how much we've actually added in the new way of working and in a new time. So these are a couple of typical offerings of the training division. Then recent activities, and I'm sure some of you have been involved in them, was the virtual information sessions, series of 12 there. Sonia has recently also issued the certificates. You can see a screenshot of one of them in the top right of the screen. So if you haven't claimed or downloaded your VIS certificate from DiplomaSafe, please do so and share it on social media. So that's, again, visibility, not only for you, not only demonstrating to, the rest of our profession and the tourism sector that we do our CPD, continuous professional development, that we keep in touch, but also visibility for WFDJ. Another recent activity was an in-person course we ran in February in Armenia. The topic was heritage interpretation, and we got an expert in to deliver this course from Interpret Europe, an organization called Interpret Europe. And initially we had thought this would be a CPD, so continuous professional development course for the trainers only, but then we opened it up to members, and it was taken up by quite a number of us. So that was the first time that we delivered such a course, and maybe something that can be done in the future again. And then, of course, our training courses at the international training centers, and the last one was in Cyprus almost a year ago in November 2022. And you can see photographs of both the Armenia courses and the Cyprus courses at the bottom of the screen. So the next open courses happening, so they are planned in March in Armenia, and also again in November 2024 in Cyprus. So we opted not to have a course this November because we're all preparing for the convention, and and that's basically, and there's other ways of engagement. So we have to be mindful of how we use our resources, the limited resources we have. So the course is taking place in the international training centers. There are 2 courses, depending on if you get the number of participants, but it's the Train the Trainer course, 14 days long. It contains what we call the hot course, so the guiding skills, refresher in this case, and then you would leave with a trainer qualification, being a national trainer. The other course that runs at the international training centers is the International Train the Trainer course. So that's open, and that also shows the progression of the trainer qualifications. So the international course is open to national trainers who have been active locally and have at least run 100 or delivered 100 training hours, practical training hours locally. So, and I was really amazed how creative our last graduates of the trainer course in Cyprus were, because a number of them are already ready to move on to the next international trainer course. And as I mentioned, but it's important to repeat it, the next one, hopefully in March 2024 in Armenia, in Yerevan in Armenia. And then the third qualification, just to add that in as well, it's lead international trainer. And this is really gained through experience rather through doing another course. So once you, as an international trainer, have worked with a lead international trainer, you then become a lead international trainer yourself. Okay, so the conventions are important for the training division as well, not only as Mauro so nicely said, because we are meeting face to face and we can really discuss issues in much more detail, but also to get the business done to keep WFDJ and keep the training division going. So a new training committee will be elected at each of the conventions, and the positions in the training committee are listed here. You can also see, how they are elected. Like we all know, the president is elected by the General Assembly. So that's what the abbreviation stands for, and more about that later by Alushka as well. Also, the head of training division, I hold that post at the moment, is actually elected by the General Assembly as an expo member, and then the portfolios are allocated once the expo is elected. However, the training division itself elects the trainer representative, currently Dimitra, and then later on more are appointed. So the experienced trainer is appointed, but the applications will open very shortly. The trainers will meet as one of the preparatory meetings, like this one for members. There will be specific meetings for trainers, and then the applications for training committee open, and experienced trainers can submit their application and CV and ask to be appointed to the training committee. And then another expo member through, again, how the expo is elected, and an arbitrator. And yes, worth repeating again, I think I said it already earlier on, that the training division, so remember there are those three conditions you need to meet in order to be a member of the training division: have your qualification, be a member of WFDJ through your Tourist Guide Association or an individual member, and pay your annual trainer registration fee. And Sonia already mentioned invoicing and membership invoicing and invoicing of annual trainer registration fees, one after the other, but almost at the same time. Okay, and I think that is really it on the training front.
Thank you, Viola. Let's just see if there's any pressing issues or questions. Any questions for Viola about the training aspect of WFTGA? Just raise your virtual hand if you do. Don't see anything, Viola.
No, I don't see any hands either. No electronic hands.
Great, that's fine. Let's go on with the presentation then. Thank you very much. All right, so with that, we move on to our section 3, which is our convention. So with me, I have Sebastian, who will be going through convention with me as well. Next slide, please, Viola. So if you remember in January of 2022 or February of 2022, when an announcement was made and Italy won the bid to host, and that is Carlos with Valeria from the hosting team, and they were very excited to be announced the winners. So since they were announced in February 22, there's been a lot of hard work going on behind the scenes between the organizers, our hosting association, the Italian guides, as well as ourselves, WFTGA. If you could move on, please, Viola. So, Sebastian, the convention. We are going to be on an island. Next slide, please, Viola.
And this is Sicily, where we're gonna be. And perhaps once again, important is we have 3 different parts, and this is typically for every convention. We first have a pre-tour, or pre-convention. This is this time from the 18th to the 21st January. It's more in the eastern part of the island. Yeah, and then we have the main convention with the General Assembly and with all the workshops, the lectures. This is in Ortigia, which is the blue part on this map. And then after that, we have a post-convention from the 26th to the 29th January, going more to the western part.
Great. And then on the next slide, we've just listed, and you can get this information on the website, what is included in the fee for the pre-convention, the post-convention, as well as the main convention. So this is the pre and post tour. The inclusions and exclusions, accommodation is included when it comes to the pre and post tours. It's part of the package, as well as the activities and breakfast, and of course your tourist guides, your local tourist guides, as well as your transport. Next slide, please. And you can play.
Dear colleagues from all around the world, I'm Sebastian Koptet, member of the WFTG, and I'm here in Campania in Sicily at the airport, where we will have...
Whoops, shall we start again?
Dear colleagues from all around the world, I'm Sebastian Koptet, member of the WFTG board, and I'm here in Campania in Sicily at the airport, where we will have our welcome desk for the 20th Tourist Guide Convention. And a Tourist Guide Convention, this is our professional meeting where we have lectures, workshops, best practice experiences, where we talk about the vision for our professions, about problem, and where we help each other. So don't miss this chance, the main convention, our professional part, and then the pre and post tour where we have all the excursions visiting this amazing place of Sicily. And a tourist guide meeting is really something unique and special because we're in the same mood, we have the same interest, and it's always party from the first beginning to the end with a lot of dancing experiences, but also a lot of professional networking. So see you in 1 year.
And as Sebastian mentioned, a lot of singing and dancing. And with the next video, we will meet Carlos again, who is also in Madrid with the Italian team. And here he is demonstrating his vocal skills. Go ahead, Viola.
Che bella cosa è una giornata di sole, l'aria serena dopo una tempesta e l'aria fresca. Che bella cosa è una giornata di sole. Bravo!
Perhaps to explain that a little bit, why we have taken also so many videos, is that these videos, we have them also without the logos and all that to support the local association. So we have given these videos to them that they can use it for their own websites or whatever. So when we are coming with a convention to a country or to a region, it's also to support the local tourist guides.
Exactly. And Sebastian, on the next slide, we will see that we are actually on an island for the main part of our convention, which is the island of Ortigia. So if the ladies come to the main convention, the recommendation is not to wear high heels, correct? What do you say about them walking around the city? That experience of having the main convention on the island?
So perhaps we step back, we are in Siracusa, so that everybody hears that. We are in Sicily, in Siracusa, but Siracusa has, you can see that on the left map. So the whole part is Siracusa, but we are just on one part, on the real old part, and that's now Ortigia, the old part. So a lot of cobblestones, not so many walking distance because it's a small island, but cobblestones and a lot of wind too, because the ocean is around. So it's really beautiful. It's an amazing city, and this is the first convention we have. We have not a hotel where everybody stays inside, where we have a main venue, where we have the theater, the municipal theater, where we have all our talkings and all that, and the hotels are with the locals together. So we really live like the locals. We get this Italian way of feeling, the family feeling. So this will be really amazing.
Exactly. And when we move on to the next slide, which shows what is included if you attend the main convention with the convention fee, it is clearly indicated that accommodation is not included. So as Sebastian says, you can stay on the island, or you can stay just off of the island in Siracusa. The walking distances are not too far. So keep that in mind when you choose your accommodation. Our main convention venue will be a beautiful venue, which is the next slide we will show you an image of. But these information about the main convention inclusions you can find on the website. So our main venue for our opening, closing, welcome ceremony and plenary is the Municipal Theatre, which you can see in the bottom left corner. The other images are actually taken from our 2019 convention, just to show you the kind of format of some of the sessions. So we have plenary, workshops, and roundtable discussions. Sebastian.
Yeah, and this will be really for professionalize our job, our business. So we will have lectures from Italian speakers, but they're not talking about small Italian topics. They're always speaking about topics everybody is interested in, how we can get more professional, how we can understand the history of Italy, this melting point, which has the combination for the whole world. And so this is really a convention for professional tourist guides, but the good combination between also excursions we're seeing best practice experiences, but also professional lectures.
Exactly. So in our next video, we have one of our tours, our field workshops, one of our field workshops. And this is a video of one at the Pupi Theatre.
We invite you to join us at Refuse, so you will experience the best workshops ever. You will enjoy the everyday life of locals. Come to Sicily. Join us, please, for the next convention in 2024. Come.
So in summary, for our main convention events, we have a few things taking place. We have, next click please, Viola. We have our welcome ceremony, which is the Sunday evening. This will also be on our webinar format. And we then have the opening ceremony, the Monday morning. We then have plenary sessions on Tuesday morning, as well as Thursday evening, our gala dinner, and then Friday morning, the closing ceremony. But it's important to note that if you're not there in person, you will not be part of the entire program. You will only be part of a very small part of the program with the welcome ceremony, opening ceremony, closing ceremony, and one of the plenary sessions. So if you would like to participate in the workshops, you have to come in person. Next click, please, Viola. So with the presentations and plenaries and workshops, you have to understand, and Sebastian's also said that these are provided by professors. These are given by professionals in the field, but we also have WFTGA trainers as well as tourist guides who are giving some of these workshops. And some of the themes that we are going to look at during our week at the main convention includes history of the Roman Empire, protecting our heritage. We'll look at some film tourism. We'll have a forum where we will be doing a fishbowl discussion on tourist guide challenges. We have the round table for discussions for delegates. We'll be addressing technology for tourist guides. We have the history of food, route tourism. We'll address over-tourism as well from a professor with that experience. And then, of course, adventure tourist guiding and more. And then with all these workshops, which are in the plenary room, which are in the main venue, as well as some breakaway venues, they all run parallel. So unfortunately, as much as we want you to attend all of them, you have to choose, and we will have a couple of repeat sessions that you can also go and choose. And then we have the field workshops, which go outside of the building to various different little adventures within walking distance from the municipal theatre. Anything to add to that, Sebastian?
Yeah, that everybody can bring a companioning person with us. So this is the program for us tourist guides, but especially these outgoing excursions, the field workshops, that is a little bit also what the accompanying persons are doing. So they stay with us, they have a reduced price, so everybody can bring the partner or children or whatever with to the convention. It's always a great experience that not only tourist guides are there, so also other people are meeting and coming together.
Great. And on the next slide, as Sebastian says, you will see it can get a little windy, and this is our beautiful gala dinner venue. Sebastian.
Yeah, it's a castle, the Castello Magnace, and it's really at the end of this island. So you have to pass a small bridge there. And especially for the ladies, I know the gala dinner, you want to have amazing hair. I won't do that on that day because the way they're so windy, just be normally dressed in beautiful costumes and have perhaps an umbrella with you, perhaps it's get raining. I think we have prepared a video like it was in January this year when we had the site inspection there.
Correct. Next slide, please.
Folks, be prepared. The gala dinner will take place in a special place, a fort dating back to the first half of the 13th century. Such an authentic place, you will experience the best dinner. Don't miss the dinner with us.
So this has been a brief overview, and we've done many of these purely dedicated to the convention, to sharing information, promoting the convention over the last 6 months, Sebastian, and these are on our YouTube channel. So if we have not covered everything, it's because we are aware of the time that we have, but also that we have done this already, and you're most welcome to view the YouTube recordings at your leisure. But we will take a couple of questions if there's anything regarding convention. Unfortunately, we cannot address any questions around registration or accommodation because that is the convention organizers. But if you have any questions about the experience itself, as a first-time participant, you're most welcome to ask now. If there are any that, if there's anyone that would like to say something that has attended a convention, you're also most welcome to speak. Monica, go ahead.
Hello, it's so nice to meet you. I'm going to be a newcomer. It's going to be my first convention, and I'm registered with my husband. But I haven't been able to see what the workshops options are. I don't know if it is that it's not uploaded yet, or because I was unable to find them.
So we haven't uploaded them because we really are juggling. As you can see, we have a full program. So we at the moment have almost 20 speakers and presenters that we are juggling to fit into different slots and repeat slots. And so there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and be sure you won't miss it when it's announced. We will do it on social media. We'll do it on the convention website. We'll also do it on our newsletters. And those will be released with the biographies of the presenters, the professors, everyone involved as well. So don't worry, it's happening. The schedule's there, the program's there. We're just at the moment trying to find and fit everybody into the correct slots. But we will share that information.
Sorry, I have just a second question also. Being my first time, is there any like informal kind of Facebook group or WhatsApp group that all participants can connect without being a hassle on you, the organization, just to check on each other and know where we are coming and where we are going and what we plan to do? Is there going to be a parallel, kind of communication for participants?
We don't do that. We use basically social media, and we can look at doing a Facebook group for, I think Facebook is the most used by our members. Obviously, we want to be as much inclusive as possible. So we can't do it on all channels, but we can do something on Facebook, and we can open that up to all members. We will definitely look at that.
Thank you.
Luann.
Yes. I've been attending the convention since 1997, and all I can say is it's an amazing experience in every respect. The fact that you get to network with your colleagues around the world, the quality of the presentations, and it's such a memorable experience that I think it's so unique. You can never reproduce this anywhere. In the back of my mind, and Roz Newlands is attending this right now, so she'll hear me say, because I say it to her every time I see her at a convention, that night of the gala dinner at Stirling Castle is one of the highlights of my life. I just can never forget it.
Thank you for that, Luann. It's so great to have a loyal member. I think you've put down the gauntlet for the Italian guides now for the gala dinner at their castle. So I think that the challenge is there. That they would try and meet that Stirling Castle experience.
If I maybe can come in briefly for Monica and Adon, my husband as an accompanying person has been coming to 7 conventions and he wouldn't miss them now. So there will be, a great program for our accompanying people as well. And we can get on with other things.
Great. Any final comments from your side, Sebastian, if we have no more questions?
No, just who has not registered yet, please register now. We want to meet you.
Great. So as I said, welcome to visit the convention website. And if you have not signed up for their newsletter yet, please be sure to do so. And that link is on their convention website and also in our newsletters that we share with you as well. We have shared the link in the past few editions, so please make sure you look at your Guidelines International newsletter. Great, and thank you. Let's move on to our next section, section 4, which is a little bit back to business. So we touched on our role as the WFTGA earlier, and now let's just quickly touch on some of the business side of things. So we have with us our General Assembly, which is also part of the main convention program, and that is open to the delegates. And within this General Assembly, we do a number of different things. And that includes voting for the new expo, as Viola mentioned earlier, and this is done by the delegates. Next slide, please, Viola. Within the General Assembly, we also make use of other positions, such as the Financial Inspection Committee, the parliamentarians, and of course, an arbitration committee. And these are all volunteer positions. Within the executive board, we have the positions of president, vice president, head of training, and treasurer. However, only the president and the treasurer are voted by the delegates. The rest of the executive board is voted by the delegates. And then once that board gets together, they then allocate the portfolios and positions within the board itself. So please remember that me as current president, I have come to the end of my term, which means that I will be leaving the WFTGA at the convention, at that delegates meeting. So the position for president will be completely new and delegates will be able to vote on a completely new person for that position. How it works is through an application form. These applications will start to become available at the end of November. That you do not have to be a delegate in order to put your name forward for a position on the executive board. You do, however, have to complete an application form. And as I said, these will be made available at the end of November. And this is for any executive board position. This is for an area representative position, as well as for any of the other volunteer positions. Next slide, please. So when we have the General Assembly, as I mentioned, a delegate, and a delegate is not a self-appointed person. A delegate represents your association, and this is a person that your association needs to put forward This person then speaks to what the membership wants. So they cannot vote with their personal agendas or what they would like to personally do. You as the members need to speak to your association committee and your delegates and say what you would like as a member, what you would like to see, and communicate with your delegates. A delegate should not be acting in isolation. They should have the full support of the association members. So when it comes to, for example, the bidding countries for 2026, you as the membership need to decide who you all agree on, and that is who your delegate should vote for. A delegate by no means should say, oh, I've been there, therefore I do not want to go there. It's not about them as a person, it's about the membership and the broader tourist guiding sector. That is your role as the member and as the participants. When it comes to agenda items on our General Assembly, we cover everything from the voting for Expo members, the voting for the next host country, but we also look at things, and this year is quite a big one when it comes to our constitution. We also look at how we are changing a few things in our constitution. Our WFTGA constitution currently does not accommodate the new needs of the Federation, such as technology and a few other operational side of things. So these will be things that we as the Expo, the board, will propose to the delegates. This will be up for discussion and then voting will take place. So as you can see, it's quite an important position that the delegate holds. We also communicate with delegates prior. So the sooner you appoint your delegate and let us know and send us an official letter, the sooner we can start communicating with the delegates and sharing delegates packs. So in delegates packs, we have all the administration that they need, such as previous minutes from previous General Assembly, to how to vote, which will be, again, an online digital voting platform that we use, and everything else that they need to know from a paperwork point of view. A delegate also has to submit a country report, and this is an exciting one because this is a summary of the last 2 years of activities of your association. So what have you, of the members, done? What have you achieved? And this needs to be submitted to us as well. But this year we're also giving in an alternative, which is a virtual one, and I will come to that later. So to attend the General Assembly, it is compulsory to register as a delegate, whether you are attending virtually or in person. So virtual delegates registrations will open in November. Next slide, please. So when it comes to our activities, this also links closely to what happens at the General Assembly. So the first activity, as I've now mentioned, is who will host the 21st convention in 2026. And this is a process that's been ongoing since last year. And when it comes to hosting a convention, it's quite a very intense process that you have to do as an applicant in the process. So you have to complete a bidding document, you have to meet a variety of deadlines, you have to, within that bidding document, supply everything from your proposed tours, your proposed theme, and your budget. And this is important because what happens through the process is we have initially a number of countries and associations wanting to bid. For example, this year we started off with 8. Came the first deadline, we dropped down to 7. Then we hit the final deadline, internal deadline, and we are now at 6. So we currently have 6 countries and full member associations who are part of the process for bidding. This is all internal, so we cannot at this point in time share with you who these 6 countries are, because right now we are busy vetting their applications. Only once the vetting process has taken place and we've checked the applications, do we then make a public announcement of who the 6 countries are. And this will happen at the end of October. So we're very excited to hopefully, fingers crossed, announce 6 countries. Once this process has taken place, there will be 1 month of a lobbying period for all 6. Come November, we'll be able to do a virtual vote, which will bring this down to 4. These 4 countries will then be part of the process during December into January, and you will meet them in person in January at the convention in Italy. At the convention in Italy, they will do a final live presentation, and this is where the delegates will then have an opportunity to ask the final round of questions and then vote as to who will be the host for 2026. So as you can see, there's a lot of administration behind the scenes, a lot of hard work from all the bidding countries. But once we announce at the end of the month, you will know exactly who those countries are, and they will start sharing more about their bid proposals to you. Next slide, please. I mentioned that the country reports are quite important for the delegates to submit for part of our General Assembly. And this is where the association journeys this year come in, because this year we will allow the members to also do a virtual presentation on their association journeys. And we've done the journeys now, I think, for the last 3 years. And this is always quite nice because we get to visually see videos, we get to meet the guides online, and they get to present. What we'll also do this year is include the area representatives who will do a presentation about their role and representation the last 2 years. And we'll also have our bidding countries present. So this is a very interesting way that we get to hear from our other members. And this takes place over 4 days because we have very many members we need to accommodate. So please keep a lookout in the November newsletters for the exact times, but we have the dates already, the 5th to the 8th of December. Next slide. International Tourist Guide Day, you would have seen the communications around this. We've shared the theme with you, and we really look forward to how you as tourist guides and as associations interpret the theme, what you do for your guides. We often have our members who do events not on the 21st, but perhaps after, because the 21st of February is season for half our members. So they're quite busy and they do their celebrations later in the year. But please remember to always share what your activities are with us so that we can also see what you are doing as members. Last year in 2023, we did a virtual conference in celebration of International Tourist Guide Day. And that was also a really nice way to get some interesting speakers and to get our members engaged online. So we have shared with you the artwork in the newsletters, which you are most welcome to use, which promotes International Tourist Guide Day as well as the theme. And then when we're at the convention, all of those in person, we'll do a virtual message, which we will share online following the convention. Great. And then just some dates, which is really good for you to remember. The 14th of October, Vola, if you would like to come in here, would you like to tell us a little bit what's happening on the 14th of October to promote the standards of our profession?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Alushka. So again, an online session. So we are running an online session for trainers this time as a CPD, continuous professional development, on one of the fields that we thought where we can raise our standards, which is feedback writing. So that's our dedication or contribution to the World Standards Day this year.
Thank you. And this is also the one day that's important to highlight our profession and how we are linked to standards. Vola, you know off by heart the standards that everyone needs to remember when it comes to tourist guiding.
Yeah, sure. It's really, the first one is it's a standard, but it's actually the definition of our profession. You know, tourist guide is a person who guides visitors in the language of their choice and interprets. Hence, we had the CPD on interpretation, interprets the cultural and natural heritage of their area, and they have an area-specific qualification. So that's our first standard, the kind of definition of our profession, raison d'etre, what we are doing on a daily basis. And the second standard we use as a benchmark, and now not everybody, we still have a lot of work to do to reach the second standard, which is the EN 15565. Trainers, please sing along to this number. So it's actually a standard for training programs, professional tourist guide training programs, which we use as our benchmark. And WFDJ actually provides the skills aspect in that standard for you, our members, and internationally, because the other two aspects, the area-specific knowledge, can easily be provided locally, and also the core knowledge. Of course, that's where we come in, again, where the conventions come in, as we just mentioned, the lecturers we are listening to. It gives us an opportunity also to exchange the latest. So, the core knowledge can also be acquired. elsewhere with our help, but really our training and where we try to push the standards, because that's usually missing, is the skills. So definition of the tourist guide, and then the standard for professional tourist guide training programs, EN 15565. And last sentence, remember, it's also one service we provide. You can get your own training program accredited by WFTJ, and we would then look at it and we would confirm if it meets EN 15565. And if not, then we help you to reach that standard.
Thank you, Viola. So yes, so we use that Standards Day celebrated by many different professions to highlight our profession. So that's a very nice opportunity for us. And then other dates, again, the association journeys, as well as the membership payment deadlines, and of course, applications for anyone interested in applying for a position on WFTGA. I am, for the positions on WFTGA, I will make myself available to any one-on-one tutorials or any mini mentorship sessions, anything like that, for anyone that truly wants to know the inside and how much work and what is required, and to know if you are ready for something like that. I will be available from the middle of November to the middle of December for that. So you're welcome to email me if you are interested in taking me up on my offer. Next slide, please, Viola. So just to give you a summary, first a bit of just a reminder, please, we always want you to engage with us. Our members do not engage with us, as Mara so nicely highlighted. The communication is one way, and that's true for us as well. So we really need to hear more from you. What is happening with your members? What's happening with your member meetings? Any news is news we will happily receive and share in our newsletters. So please, images and short articles are welcome. And you can email those to our news email address, and then of course use your area representatives. They are also there, and you should have their information as well. And then just in summary, there's our news email, so news@wftga.org. And then just to let you know what's happening internally, so the Expo are very busy in the next couple of months as we prepare a number of things. We are updating our policy and procedure document. We are addressing the Constitution and how we propose changes for the delegates. We're also looking at, we still have quite a number of meetings, speaking events coming up in the coming weeks, where we also address our profession and lobby for our profession. We are preparing for our 2024 convention, not only General Assembly, but a lot of the behind the scenes things as well. We're working closely with the organizers and our Italian hosts. We also have our financial year coming up end of October, and then into our membership renewals. We're preparing all our handovers, our mentorship, as I mentioned, which will happen at the main convention, because none of us can assume who will continue and who's coming in new. So we need to be ready for that as well. The Jane Aud Scholarship applications end on the 15th. We've had almost 20 applications this far. So once the closing date has come, we will go through those applications and see who our recipient will be for the Jane Aud Scholarship. And if you want to know more about that, you can look at our website or refer to our newsletter, the last couple of newsletters that went out. We have more information. We currently have our Ukraine working group, which is run by James on our Expo. That's a working group addressing some of the issues that the Ukraine tourist guides are facing. And that's made up of members, our tourist guide members. And then we still have these membership engagement sessions, and also always asking you to please communicate with us on social media and newsletters. And just in closing, before I take questions, just to remind you, we are a member of the UNWTO. You will see a lot going on in the way of news articles and on social media, because the UNWTO have their big General Assembly next week. And as affiliate members, we always attend these meetings. And currently I sit on the board for the affiliate members in UNWTO. So we have a nice foot in the door there. And we, as Viola mentioned, also do some training with them as well. So this is nice to know. So as you start seeing information about UNWTO, just remember that we as the WFTGA are affiliate members of the UNWTO. So if there are any questions, we'll take some questions and then we can see where we are. Let me just So you're welcome to raise your virtual hand if you have any questions or if you have any comments. I see there's 38 of you. We had over 60 registrations for this meeting. So thank you to almost 50, just over 50% who have shown up. We always appreciate that. I don't see any questions. We've come to the end of our presentation. So if there are no questions, we have one last video, but once the video is shown, we're cutting off the meeting. So this is your final opportunity to ask any questions or to make any comments before we say good night or good morning or good afternoon. Brian. Brian?
Yes, hello.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm happy to be in this meeting. Thank you for organizing it. My name is Brian Tuhaisi, but you can call me Brian from Uganda. I'm sorry I came in late, about a few minutes to 8:30 in our local time here. And I might be a little bit behind, but my question is, how much do I need to pay as an association member for the World Federation of Tourist Guides Association? Thank you.
So thank you, Brian. If you put your email address in the chat, then Sonia, our membership manager, will actually email you, because our membership works on a tiered system. So it depends which country you are, if we have other members, if we have other full members, or if we have a calculation that we do when it comes to membership fee. So Sonia will do that calculation and she will email you the answer to your question. Okay. Great. I think, Verla, would you like to pop up that last slide, and then we will show one final video and then we will close off the meeting. So once again, from our side, and on behalf of the Expo and everyone, thank you so much for coming to the session. We'll repeat it tomorrow and the next day as well to accommodate all our members. So thank you very much, and let's see that last video and then we'll say good night and goodbye. We are here at the end of our site inspection week. It has been a wonderful week. We've met some of the local tourist guides, the host committee, and we've got to experience some of what you will be experiencing in 1 year's time. So where are we, Sebastian?
We're in the center of Syracuse, and our teacher. Have a look into the social media videos we have done with the local guides. Alicia's explaining us the Duomo, where we are in front of, or the town hall. So, and I think that's what this makes this convention so special, that we have not one hotel, not one venue where we are always in the same time. We are spread over the city and different hotels. We have an amazing Baroque theater where we are coming together. So it will be a very, very new way of a convention.
We'll be walking everywhere. We'll be experiencing exactly like the locals experience on their daily life, and we'll be enjoying the sweets, the food, and of course the coffee. Till next year, we look forward to seeing you. Cheers.
Cheers. I can't drink any more espresso.
You've got to cut that part out.
Yeah,
I kicked you because you were going on again too long.
No, that has to be inside.
Yes, but shorter.
Okay.
No, but I think that's fine. Because the longer you talk, the more I just sit you go.